Hey guys, Kat here from Standing Stone, and probably one of the most common questions I get is, how do you pick the right puppy out of a litter? Well, first of all, I always tell people, if you are getting a puppy from us, we're breeding very consistent litters. That's the whole point of our breeding program, is to have consistent litters. So from puppy A to puppy B, there's going to be very small differences. But when we are looking from a breeding prospect standpoint, because for us, that's what we're looking to keep, is a puppy that's going to be added to our breeding program. So we do want to make sure that there's nothing that would disqualify them from a breeding standpoint. But I look at coat. I want puppies with really nice, thick, woolly coats if possible. I look at puppies that have a lot of natural retrieve desire. All of our litters are going to retrieve, but there's usually one or two out of the litter that just take it to the next level. I look at how well they handle getting set up for their stacked photos. That just gives me insight into their personalities, how confident they are up on the table as we're manipulating them, coaxing them to, lean forward for the yogurt. Some of them are a little more hesitant up on the table. Some of them just can't stop moving. Some of them have just this presence where they lean into it and they just look amazing. And it was like, well, that was easy. So I consider all of those things when I am looking at keeping a puppy for our breeding program. Coloration. Look, we've got a whole variety of colors right here. We've got a lighter ticked liver puppy. We've got more of a Rony baloney puppy that's liver. We've got a darker black, almost roan puppy, and a lighter ticked black and white puppy. So the color variation is extreme in short hairs. We don't have any solid short hairs in our breeding program, but there are solid black and solid liver short hairs as well. So from a coloration standpoint, for us, there's more flexibility from a breeding standpoint if I keep a liver puppy. But sometimes there's a black one that just stands out as being the one that needs to, be part of the next generation of short hairs at Standing Stone Kennels. But liver gives us a little more flexibility from a breeding standpoint, because when I'm looking at who to breed that dog to down the road, that I can say, well, I am only going to be able to look at liver options when I have a black puppy, whereas if I have a liver puppy, I'm going to be able to look at liver and white options and black and white options from a breeding prospect standpoint. Hello, another puppy. Oh, you brought me a dead bug. Thanks. That was gross. So those are things that I look for when I'm considering puppies. We look at other physical attributes. I mentioned coat coverage. We look at how they stack. We look at eye color. All of our black puppies usually have really dark eyes. Some of our liver puppies can get lighter colored eyes. And I want a dog that has a really nice, rich colored eye, if at all possible. Then we get into some real specific things. Well, what color do you want? And what, color on the face, no color on the face. And that all comes down to personal preference. I will tell you, come here, this little guy has just a little bit of color on his face. And he is adorable. I really love this little puppy out of this litter. However, that little bit of color on his face, if we keep him from a breeding prospect standpoint, he's going to produce a lot of puppies with a lot of color on their face. So for the most part, I try and keep puppies with solid heads, because a little bit of color is going to probably peek its head out every once in a while anyway. Whereas if I have a puppy with a blaze or color on its face, bred to another puppy with blaze and color on its face, eventually I'm going to have a lot of blazes all over my puppies. And again, it's personal preference. Some people love a blaze. I think puppies are adorable with blazes, but it can become excessive. And we do ultimately prefer a solid-headed puppy in our breeding program. Hi, little bites. We look at things like teeth and alignment. We don't want to keep a puppy that maybe has a bad alignment of their teeth, though that won't affect anything from a hunting standpoint, family dog standpoint, any of that. We just want to make sure that we're continuing to breed puppies with really nice aligned teeth. We look at umbilical hernias. Every once in a while, one will pop up here and there. I never have full litters of umbilical hernias, but I try and avoid keeping a puppy with an umbilical hernia so that that's not something that can potentially get continued to produce. What else? I look for puppies that are bold and confident and recover quickly. If I drop a dog food bowl on the floor and they all freak out and they're all slinking around with their tail between their legs, I don't want that. I want a puppy that goes, "Ooh, what was that noise?" and recovers really quickly, and then goes and is interested in checking it out and seeing what that was all about. I want a puppy that's bold and confident, but I don't want a puppy that's too pushy, hard-headed, and doesn't listen. So enough independence that they can do their job, but enough cooperation that they want to do their job for us and with us. You little wild thing. And speaking of independence, all of my puppies have left me to go explore and find other things to do, which means we're doing it right. We're producing very bold, confident, independent little puppies that, when I call, who wants to come say hi? I get some little takers to come say hi because they're also super cooperative. I hope this helped you when you were thinking about what characteristics you should look for when you're considering keeping a puppy. And biggest thing, I would just say, trust your breeder. They've spent 8 weeks with those puppies. They know what those puppies are. They have an idea of who's the most bold and confident, who's the most laid back in the litter, which puppy might be the harder charging puppy, which may be the best retriever, which puppy may be the most sweet and cuddly. So trust them to give you their advice on who to pick as well. Till next time, I'm Kat the dog trainer. We'll see you in the next video.